Okay, so when I showed up today, you guys were all holding hands in that circle, juggling the ball. Does that does those sort of practices work if you guys aren't getting along with each other? and,
Um,
and
I don't know. I've not really been a part of teams that aren't really getting along together, so it's hard to say. But I think you can see that we get along quite well as a team, and we're all quite close. I think that's quite important for us.
Not many teams in world soccer, let alone MLS, play with those two direct strikers like they used to 10, 15 years ago. So how is your job a little bit different going against Chicho Arango, who the Timbers, of course, saw last year, and also Joseph Martinez being on the pitch at the same time?
I think it's a good challenge. I think you're right that not a whole lot of teams play that kind of style, and when teams play it and they play it well, it is quite effective, and it can be difficult sometimes to play against. I think it just comes down to us as a team, stopping them from playing the ball forwards, and then the back four particularly, and the sixes dominating both the players and the spaces around the players. And we'll speak a lot and communicate to each other, and we have our plans to stop them.
Hey, Finn, I want to ask you about one pass in particular from last weekend, just the long ball over the top to Jonathan Rodriguez that set up the penalty. I'm just wondering what the coaching staff has been telling you about hitting those types of passes and just like how you're feeling about hitting them just in games going forward.
In games, yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think that was the one against LA. That was like a dead ball situation, and I was speaking to Kamal at the time, and we thought their line was quite high when they were about to restart play. So I thought, you know what, I know John is going to run in behind, so I'll look for that. In open play, sometimes it's a little bit different. We're a team that likes to play with the ball. Yes, there are sometimes there's times to go a bit longer and test them in behind. Myself, personally, I'm always learning and always improving, but that's definitely part of my game that I am trying to improve on, is the decision making with the ball and where to pass when and that sort of stuff. So the coaching staff are very open and honest in our discussions around that. So they say, you know, it's up to you to kind of work out the times when to play to someone's feet, when to look in behind. The positive thing about our team is that we have willing runners and boys that will run all day, so that is always an option. Both players that want to come to feet and that want to run in behind.
your guys' back four has been the one thing that's been kind of like the consistent standard throughout this season, and there's been a lot more kind of shuffling of the lineup in the middle or up front. And I'm just curious, when even in relating to like those types of passes, how much does personnel change how you guys or how you attack your job? Like when a Jono comes in late, do you have to kind of take in a calculus of what type of player he is versus maybe who he's taken off the field?
In all honesty, I'd say yes. I think different players have different strengths, and you understand those strengths and potential weaknesses through training with them and playing with them multiple games, you know. And I think you'd probably be wrong to just treat every single player the same and give them the same passes and that sort of stuff. You are naturally going to expect different things from different players because that's their skill set. There's certain things that should kind of stay the same no matter what player is playing there, but in terms of the consistency, it doesn't. You kind of get used to it and get used to how that person wants the ball and how they're going to play, and you know what they're going to give you and give the team.
Any other questions there?
Espanol, right?
I wish.
I'm just kidding. So Timbers is scoring a lot of goals, but they're getting a lot of goals as well, right? It's 20-15, I think. What do you guys need to improve in order to avoid that?
I think that's a good question. I think last week we went 3-0 up, and I'd say we just lost a bit of concentration on the state of the game, and that's where we have to be smarter with managing it. I think there's multiple reasons why or how we conceded 2 goals last week, and we've looked at that and where we need to be better. And saying that, the last couple of weeks before that, we conceded 5 goals. 2 of those were penalties, 2 of those were from free kicks, and 1 was from open play. And those penalties and free kicks kind of come from like kind of not poor defending, but just silly mistakes and lack of concentration. And I think you take those out, and then we've conceded 1 goal in the last in those previous 2 games. And I think that's a positive thing, is that it's something that we can definitely work on, is just the concentration. So I'd say that's the thing that we're working on the most at the moment, to not make us have to score 3 or 4 goals every game, because it's impossible to do that every game. But we're just fortunate at the moment that we're scoring a lot of goals and continuing to work on tightening up the defence.
We all talked so much about the string of 4 road games and five matches, and now that you guys are at the tail end of it, I'm curious how you guys have viewed this kind of string of games, especially the challenges of being on the road, and maybe something you guys know about yourselves now on the other end of it than when you started.
I don't know. I think it's no secret that we as a team struggled a bit on the road last year to pick up wins and pick up results. I think, I don't know, I kind of approach, I don't know if I approach road games any differently to a home game. I think this year we've been very good at coming out and being aggressive away from home. We've pressed teams away from home and been solid with that. And I think that's I don't know if it's a mentality or an attitude or just a belief in the team, because we've had a couple good results and you kind of build a bit of momentum. I think we're just on a good roll and have to keep it going. It's very early in the season. We all know that, and away games are sometimes tougher than home games, especially because you don't have the crowd. But we're staying humble and just continuing, trying to keep the run going, basically, and approaching each game one at a time.
We had a question from online about last week's lineup being the youngest in club history at 24.4 years of an average age on the field to start. Being on the younger side of that, can you talk a little bit about what that means, and then to also be a part of a team with so much veteran experience as well?
I didn't know it was the youngest.
In club
I
history.
didn't know that. I don't know. To me, age is just kind of a number. I think, particularly when you step on the pitch, I think we do have some veteran players, experienced players, and they definitely help the younger boys in the team and on and off the pitch. I think a mix is always good. And to be honest, if you're good enough, you're old enough. And I like that saying, because once you get on the pitch, age is just a number. I guess it's a special thing to be part of the youngest team, and being one of the younger players, it's cool. But to be honest, as long as we get the result, it doesn't really matter how old or young our team is. I think it's probably one of those things that people will look at if we lost. They'll say, "Why are we so young?" But we won, so that's good.